So once again, let us see who are the 4 scientists that we need to remember when we are remembering this lesson. Athanaeus Kircher, Ian Swamander, Antony van Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke. And who is the first person who observed bacteria under a microscope? Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Who prepared the microscope? He himself prepared with the help of magnifying lens. How did he prepare the magnifying lens? His own work. It is his own work. Now let us know about discovery of the cell. How is the cell discovered? Discovery of the cell. Who made this discovery? Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke. Don't say Hooke, children. Say it as Robert Hooke. In the year 1665. He is born in 1635 and in the year 1665. That means, do you get it? At the age of 30. Marvelous. Now, what did he do? Who is he actually? He is a British scientist. British scientist. That means he is an Englishman. And he is a botanist. He is a botanist actually. He is a botanist. Botanist means what he might have observed? He will usually observe plants only. He observes plants only. And then how did he observe when we already know that cell cannot be seen with a naked eye? And when did Antony van Leeuwenhoek discover this, microscope and all that? In 1674. And when did he discover the cell? 1665. Try to remember. 1674, Antony van Leeuwenhoek observed bacteria. That means by that time he made a discovery of the use of the magnifying lens and all. But in which year Robert Hooke already discovered the cell? In 1665. Then how did he discover? By using all the very old. That means, have you ever noticed, children, when you put something in water, a coin in water, the coin out of the water looks smaller when compared to coin inside the water. That means water has a magnifying capacity. Water can magnify. Maybe because of the density of air and water varies, it will have a magnifying quality. That one thing he had in his mind, and what he did is he used a kind of a very old, like in Bahubali, you see, no, that kind of thing. He prepared something like this. Here there is a lens, okay, and this is held by a stand. This is held by a stand like this, and this is the eyepiece from where he has to observe, and this is the place where he put something that he made. Fine. And then what else did he use? He used a lantern. Lantern like this. And then he used a water bubble. He used a lantern. That means for light, for extra light he used lantern. For extra magnification he used a water bubble. Water bubble, how he might have used? Maybe he used it in a glass tumbler like thing. So these are the crude material which he used to magnify a tiny thing. And do you think that in the first effort only he might have got? I know, suppose I am talking about myself. Suppose I am preparing a slide. First attempt, if I am not getting the result properly, I get so annoyed. I lose my patience. So much so that I tend to avoid doing that again. So that is not the way a scientist has to work. First failure, they should not give up. That is what he might have done. He might not have given up. He might have thought various ways of how to make it possible for him to know things. That gives a kind of, a kind of energy to do more extra works. So with all these crude, very crude things, that means which we think really with that can we do, that kind of questions we get, because now we get all the sophisticated equipment available at very handy. We think like that, but in those days these are really special, and that is really an innovative idea. A great idea. Just imagine you yourself trying this, you won't be able to do. I can challenge you that we won't be able to do, because we got used to all the simplest and sophisticated technology in our hand, that these things very raw, we feel that it's not, and we won't be able to do it also. If you try, you will know the feeling of that kind of exhilaration. You'll get the a kind of hype when you do that. So now let us see, using this kind of simple things, he discovered cell. Now let us see how he made the discovery. He was observing a oak tree bark, cork, what we call is cork. He was observing that. He took a thin slice of it, and when he observed, what did he notice? What did he notice? He noticed this. He noticed this. How is it looking? I just hope that you can give me an answer. How is it looking? Is it not looking like a beehive? It looks like beehive. That is what he also, when he observed under his own made, handmade microscope with all kind of things, he noticed that it is looking like a beehive with empty rooms. Empty rooms. And how are these empty rooms? Tiny empty rooms. And what are they? Are they living or dead? They are dead. Now let us see. How is it looking? It is looking like a beehive. And how are they? Empty rooms. They are empty rooms. How are they again? They are very tiny, very small, and they are dead. Then what he did is, he gave them a name. He gave them a name called cell. Cell in Latin is called tiny room. Cell in Latin is called tiny room. So this is how he discovered cell. Now he observed this like this, and he discovered, he gave the name, he understood that the tree is made up of these tiny cells, many such tiny cells all combined together to become a tree. He understood. But because he took the bark of the tree, softwood, bark of the tree, these are dead cells. But to observe a living cell, lot of improvement is required in his experimentation. So okay, but now we understand how did we do that, how did he do that. You also want to observe. So what we can do nowadays, we can't get any cork material or we can't get softwood that easily, but one thing which we can get is a matchstick. I just hope that you understood this, children. So just like Robert Hooke, you can also test the presence of these tiny cells, dead cells, with the same description. Empty rooms, tiny, dead cells, looking like a beehive. You want to observe that? Then what you have to do is, take a matchstick. Your matchstick will be like this, no? With a head. Now cut off this head. You get a matchstick like this. Then immerse it in water. Allow it to soak lot of water. Already it is a very soft wood. So let it soak water. Then it becomes soft. Now after soaking it in water for a long period of time, it becomes so soft that take a very sharp blade. You have to do it in presence of an elder only. And then slice it off. Thin slices of it you take. The thinnest slice you take on a clean slide. Take on a clean slide, on a drop of water, put the thin slice like this. And then carefully you cover it with a cover slip. See that you don't get any air bubbles. If you see air bubbles, you won't be able to see the tiny room beehive kind of arrangement. So then cover it very carefully without air bubbles, and then excess water you remove. Now take it and observe it under a microscope. You observe this kind of arrangement exactly the way Robert Hooke observed. That is how we observe cells. This is the same kind of description that Robert Hooke gave about a cell. So that is your first one, and then you want to observe. That is your first activity, children. And then let us see the second activity, which is again very easy. The second activity is again a plant cell only. You need to observe a plant cell only. All cells will be like that shape only. There will be various kinds of shapes that we are going to learn in our next activity. Our next activity is what? Take an onion, very fleshy, very fresh onion. Cut it down to 2 pieces, and then take one, that petal like thing you take, and then peel it off, and then reverse and tear it. You get a kind of thin translucent means which you cannot see through it clearly, but you can see a hazy picture. A thin translucent thing you will get, that you remove. This is matchstick experiment. Matchstick and onion. This is onion. This is activity 1, this is activity 2. And now place it on a clean slide. Place it on a clean slide on a drop of water. With the help of a brush you do, so that there won't be any folds, and very delicately with the help of the brush, if any folds are there, you clear them, and then cover it with a cover slip, and very carefully notice that there are no air bubbles. Sorry, before covering it, put a drop of saffron in, dilute saffron in, a drop of saffron in, and it turns pink in color. Then cover it with a cover slip, avoiding air bubbles. Excess of water you remove it with wipe it off with a tissue, and then observe it under the microscope. What do you observe? You observe the cells like this. And compulsory you will be noticing to one corner a dense spot. So this is the arrangement of living cells or onion cell. In an onion cell you notice. And then okay, both are plants only. You want to know one more thing, animal cell you want to observe. Then what you do is, you have to check your cheek cells. Oh my God, madam, how can I tear my cheek? You don't need to tear. Take a very clean steel or plastic spoon, and then just lift your mouth one side of your cheek like this, put the spoon inside and just lightly scrape. You get a mucus layer. Don't rub or scrape it off. Just lightly you do, a mucus layer will come. That mucus layer you put on a clean slide. Put on a clean slide. Here, let me show you. Clean slide you put on a drop of water, and then what you do, you cover it with a cover slip and observe it under the microscope. You notice this kind of cellular arrangement. These are cheek cells. So it's easy for us to observe now, because we already know about that. But in olden days, those people, they didn't know. If we are able to know that and able to do that, it is because of a tedious job done by another scientist somewhere, sometime long back. We should be always grateful and thankful for those wonderful discoveries made by these scientists. So let us remember them always. Today what did we learn? Athenaeus, Kircher, Ian Swamander, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, Robert Hooke. These are the 4 scientists we need to remember. And what are the 3 activities that we learnt? We learnt about matchstick, the cellular arrangement in matchstick, how to prepare a slide, how to prepare a slide of onion peel, how to prepare a slide of cheek cells. What is the cellular arrangement in the matchstick, and what is the cellular arrangement in the onion peel, and what is the cellular arrangement in the cheek cells. These 2 are the plant and this one is animal cells. This is what we have learnt in our today's session. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.